right. I'd like to call this meeting to order on this day, Monday, June 27th, 2016. If Clerk Kornecki could please call the roll for us tonight.
It's Trustee Aiello. Trustee Bulfus.
Here.
Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Taglia. Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Bullwinkle.
Here. All please rise for the pledge. I'll lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you all could remain standing for one more second, I'm going to have Trustee Wagner lead us in the prayer tonight.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, for those of you in the audience joining us tonight, we do have agendas. They're in the rack on the door right outside of the chamber here, so help yourself. Item number 3 on the committee of the whole is amendments of the agenda. Does anybody on the board have any amendments to the COW? Are we all good? Okay. I'm going to jump into item number 4. Recognition of lifeguard Katie Karts. Is that correct? Okay, Manager Keener. Cars. All right.
Thank you, Ron.
Yes.
We've got that now.
We got it, okay.
Yes, we'd like to have some recognition for Katie this evening, and what I'd like to do is introduce Director Greg Gola of our Parks and Recreation Department to kind of take us through the events of that particular day.
Yes.
So thank you, Ron.
Okay. All right, Greg Gola, our Director of Parks and Recreation.
Thank you.
Yes.
My pleasure to be able to explain the events that happened and talk about our staff. And they just do a tremendous job at the pools. So with that, I'll get into the whole events of the day. So Katie is a first-year lifeguard, and she performed an emergency rescue of a submerged swimmer at Jefferson Pool at 1:54 p.m. on June 5th, 2016. This was Katie's first day on the job, and little did she know she would be tested in such a significant manner. Katie learned to be a lifeguard by successfully completing our Parks and Recreation lifeguard training course held in April and May. And she and all the pool staff completed 3 days of intensive Memorial Day training in preparation for the opening of the season. Where we are specifically recognizing Katie tonight for her save, I would like to make sure that, and to recognize all of our pool staff, especially those during this rescue, for the job they do and their dedication and teamwork while working for the village is second to none. So, Katie, you want to come up here, stand up here, and do we have any of the guards that were on duty?
Yes,
Any staff that was
yes.
on duty?
Have everybody come up.
A few staff. Okay, so I'm going to take you through what happened. And
Sounds
there are a
good.
couple of our people that were on hand. Probably the rest of them are working. So on that day of the incident, Katie recognized an emergency and responded very quickly, initiating our pool emergency action plan, which starts with 3 short, quick whistle blasts. And the people in the pool know when they hear those 3 whistles, it's time to get out of the pool. So here's what happened on that day that was initiated by Katie. So she did her 3 quick whistle blasts. The lifeguards on duty all stood up in the lifeguard stations and signaled for the pool to be cleared. They blow up 1 long whistle blast, excuse me, not 3. The 3 is for to notify the rest of the guards, correct?
Good thing, Greg.
So Katie entered the water and performed a surface dive to make contact with the swimmer. Now the swimmer was, of course, down at the very deepest part of the pool, 11 feet down,
Wow.
and probably about twice as big as Katie.
Oh, my goodness.
So Katie entered the water. She made that surface dive. When she entered, our lead pool manager, Joey Calwatt, called 911. Katie performed a submerge deep water rescue, bringing the boy to the surface, and helped him to the pool edge. Pool manager R.L. Aldridge and lifeguard Zach Schneeberger assisted the victim out of the water and to a chair on the deck. Then our pool ambassador Ryan Murray went to the pool office to retrieve the emergency bag that contained the first aid equipment should we need it. Pool ambassador Eliana Sarver maintained safety at the top of the slide. They closed the slide off so people aren't still in the pool. Pool manager Carly Hinman met EMS at the gate and guided them to the victim. And then lifeguards Galen Glassner, Casey King, and manager Matt Alessandro maintained crowd control, keeping the public out of the water until staff resumed their positions. Katie's quick action and lifeguard skills prevented the more serious issue. Needless to say, the aquatic staff showed great teamwork and performed flawlessly that day. So our lifeguard staff undergoes bi-weekly training and in-services, practicing rescues and performing the emergency action plan so that they are prepared for these types of emergencies. While there may be the perception by some that working as a lifeguard is an easy job, catching rays, working outdoors during the summer months, it's a very important job that requires constant vigilance to keep the pool safe. There's intense training and skills have to be garnered to be able to provide life-saving measures if and when that is needed. So kudos to Katie and all the pool staff for a job well done. So we do have a certificate, and at this time I defer to President Bowinkle to read what's on the certificate.
This is on behalf of the village. We are so proud of you. This is hereby awarded to you, Katie Kars, Life-Saving Award for your exceptional contribution to the Village of Villa Park. You are hereby commended for your outstanding actions on June 5th, 2016, while performing lifeguard duties at Jefferson Pool. Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't know if Katie wants to say
Katie,
a few words or.
You want to say a few? Okay. Well, thank you. It's an honor to be amongst, heroes. And you're certainly at the top of the list here. So you took your job very seriously. The training paid off, and thankfully, we have, the little one here still with us today, thanks to you. So thank you again. I'm going to give you another round. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item number 5 on the Committee of the Whole. Consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the sale by public auction of personal property owned by the village. These are used bicycles. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. Each year, the Villa Park Police Department sponsors a public auction as a means to dispose of the village's surplus personal property, bicycles. It is proposed that the auction be held at the Villa Park Public Works Building located at 28 West Home Avenue, beginning at approximately 8:30 a.m. on Monday, July 4th, 2016. An opportunity to view the surplus property will begin at 8 o'clock a.m. on July 4th. An ordinance is required to authorize the auction sale of the listed items. In Your Honor, I believe there are 21 bicycles listed in the ordinance.
Oh, wow. Terrific. Okay. Any
you.
questions? Oh, thank you. Any questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Seeing none. Any questions and comments from the board? No? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus? Yes. Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bowinkle?
Yes. Okay. Item number 6 on the Committee of the Whole. Consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a development agreement between the village and Aetna OL LLC. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. Aetna OL LLC is under contract to purchase the vacant village-owned property on the northeast corner of North Avenue and Harvard Avenue. They propose to build a 20,000 square foot retail building. However, due to unforeseen costs incurred with utility relocation, they are requesting financial assistance. The development agreement proposes waiving applicable permit fees and reimbursing the developer for costs incurred with the utility relocation through an annual sales tax rebate. And Your Honor, to discuss this agreement, I'd like to take just a moment to kind of enlighten the folks in the audience at home. As the village owns this particular property, the utility poles were not relocated prior to the sale. The closing is this week, and the developer offered to jump in and relocate the ComEd utility poles and lines because currently they crisscross the site and make the site undevelopable without relocating the poles and the lines. And so the village is not putting up the money or actually paying the cost up front. The developer is going to do that, and then the village will reimburse the developer through a sales tax rebate over approximately 10 years, and by also waiving permit fees in the amount not to exceed $20,000, not the permits themselves, just the fees associated with the $20,000. So over approximately 10 years, the developer will recoup his cost of relocating the utility poles and lines. So thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Any questions and comments from the public in regards to that item? Okay, seeing none. Questions and comments from the board?
I have one.
Yes, Trustee Bolfus.
One of the provisions is the 50% of the sales tax, that would be 50% of the 1% that's due to the village, is only going to be applied to one portion of the development, which would be the pet supplies. And this goes on for 10 years. Do you have any idea how long the lease with pet supplies is going to be? I don't know if we have that information.
We do not have that information because we're assuming that he loses the lease, he loses any reimbursement. So so our request for information was not mandated because we should be protected.
That's where I was heading.
You got it.
So, okay, so we should be protected on that.
Yes.
And I just have one curious question I have in section 7. It says that the developer must supply the village with copies of all real estate tax bills that were paid. What's the purpose of that?
The purpose of that, if you read the agreement, we have maintained in this agreement the opportunity, if we have TIF dollars, to substitute TIF dollars for sales tax dollars, because sales tax dollars go to your general fund. In order to do that, we need that information. And this is just giving this village an alternate pay source, should it work out to be that way, because that would be a preference.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay,
I'm done.
you good? Okay, anybody else? We good? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
President Bowico?
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 7 on the committee of the whole. Consider an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a redevelopment agreement between the village and JDev Brew Incorporated. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The new owners of 126 South Villa are investing approximately $1 million for a new sit-down restaurant and microbrewery. They're requesting financial assistance in the amount of $20,000 for the unexpected cost of connecting to the water line on Kenilworth, increasing the size of the water service line, and installing a water sprinkler line. Staff recommends entering into a redevelopment agreement with JDev Brew Inc. to assist with the cost. And Your Honor,
Yes.
I'd like just to take 30 seconds to kind
Yes.
of give the background.
Absolutely.
And the board and folks at home, the developers bought this building and are remodeling it currently. Staff took a tour of the building and basically mandated that a sprinkler system should be installed into this building, which obviously will increase the cost of this particular development. The current water line coming off of South Villa is not large enough to handle the sprinkler line and general service needs. So therefore, they're basically mandated to connect on from Kenilworth and bring an increased sized water service into the building to function with the water sprinkler line and general service needs. And we, staff, believes this is a fantastic development for South Villa to get that particular area going through economic development. And obviously, it's located in one of our TIFs, which helps also. So thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay, Okay, seeing none. Questions and comments from the board? Trustee Gazone?
Yeah, just one comment. One of the stipulations was that if they're not there after 5 years, they pay us back. Obviously, if they're not there in 5 years, they're not going to have the money to do that. Would that have to be lien on the property to recoup those funds, or?
We haven't so provided because leaning the property would prohibit the redevelopment of it, so sometimes being extra careful is shooting yourself in the foot. So we would go after them as a company.
Okay.
Yeah, it's which way
Yeah.
should you go? And
Okay.
protecting yourself often hurts yourself, so.
Good. Okay, anybody else? Trustee Bolfus?
And this $20,000 would be TIF funds?
We do not specify,
Well, it's up to us.
right, right.
Would you like me to answer your-
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, that is correct. The $20,000 would be coming from the Ovaltine TIF to the developers. Thank
And
you.
that is the purpose of the TIF, so,
Yeah.
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, item number 8 on the committee of the whole, consider resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving change order number 1 to the contract between the village and Chicagoland Paving Contractors Incorporated for the 2016 street improvement project in the amount of $52,411.70. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with Chicagoland Paving Contractors, Inc. of Lake Zurich, Illinois for the 2016 street improvement project. Proposed change order number 1 consists of additional quantities for the reconstruction of village driveways located adjacent to Home Avenue. The net amount of this proposed change order number 1 is an addition of $52,411.70. And Your Honor, may I expand on these?
Yes.
And for the board and folks in the audience at home, number 8 and number 9 of the Committee of the Whole have to do with Home Avenue. When we bid Home Avenue, we bid Home Avenue in such a way as to save the village some funding. Part of Home Avenue was proposed to be totally reconstructed. The other part of Home Avenue was just strictly resurfacing. When we went out to bid, the bids came back so favorably that the village saved, I believe, in excess of $300,000. And so now staff and the contractor want to come back and add in certain portions, such as total reconstruction of Home Avenue and also doing the driveway aprons. And then by doing that for an 8 and 9, the village still saves money because the bids came back so favorable. So thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Thank you. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay, seeing none. Questions and comments from the board? We good? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes,
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, we are now at item number 9 on the committee of the whole. Let me see. That's right. Consider a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving change order number 2 to the contract between the village and Chicagoland Paving Contractors Incorporated for the 2016 street improvement project in the amount of $68,293.97. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with Chicagoland Paving Contractors, Inc. of Lake Zurich, Illinois for the 2016 street improvement project. Proposed change order number 2 consists of the addition and deduction of quantities as necessary to revise the scope of work on Home Avenue from Harvard Avenue to Ardmore Avenue, from partial reconstruction and partial resurfacing to full reconstruction. The net amount of this proposed change order number 2 is an addition of $68,293.97. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay, seeing none. Questions and comments from the board? We all good? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Bolfus?
yes,
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus? Did I say that already?
yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bullwinkle?
Yes. Okay, item number 10. Item number 10 on the committee of the whole. Consider resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving change order number 1, which is final, to the contract between the village and Swallow Construction Corporation for the 2015 South Monterey Culvert Replacement Project for a reduction of $2,059.56. Manager Keener?
Thank you, Your Honor. The village has a contract with Swallow Construction Corporation of Downers Grove, Illinois, for the 2015 South Monterey Culvert Replacement Project. Final change order number 1 is in the amount of $2,059.56, is a deduction needed to balance final contract quantities and to close out the project. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. Questions and comments from the public in regards to this item? Okay, seeing none. Questions and comments from the board? All good? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Okay, Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bowlingo?
Yes. Okay, we're going to convene to the formal agenda. That was a quick made all. All right. Item number 1 on the formal is Village President's report. I always start my report by asking for updates on all the village projects that are happening right now. And when Vitas Jaskalis, our Director of Public Works, is approaching the podium, gives us the updates, you can also tell us a little bit of information in regards to the funding status for High Ridge, because we had just received some information about that too, so.
Yes, let me start with that. Well, it's not
Yeah.
just High Ridge, it's any project that has either federal or state,
Okay.
or a state-led
Yeah.
local project. We have received notice via email from IDOT last week to prepare all state and state-led projects for shutdown as of this Wednesday, in preparation, in anticipation of there not being a budget for these, state budget for these projects to continue to move
Right.
forward. So specifically, we've been instructed to, make sure that there are no open excavations, that all hazards are removed from the road areas, unnecessary signs are removed, and such, in preparation for a shutdown on Wednesday. Now, even though it does not directly affect our local projects, it does affect them in the fact that those contractors that have state jobs have pulled off our local projects to go button up their state projects statewide. So they'll be back on Thursday, assuming this goes forward. A few of the contractors have told us they anticipate it to be short in duration, but nobody knows for sure how long that will be. So High Ridge.
High Ridge is one of
the
them.
project that is underway, so we did meet with the local contractor on Friday, and we do have efforts underway to secure that site
Yeah.
per IDOT's directive. The other situation is the recently bid projects. We had the North Side Sidewalk project on the June letting. As far as we know, as of this moment, none of the June letting projects will be awarded without a budget unless something changes. So there is a danger that those projects would have to be rebid at some point in the future. Typically, that means delays, of course, and more money. So we'll have to watch that very closely as well.
Yeah.
Moving on to our projects.
Yes.
Ardmore Streetscape, which is federally funded, but that project is 99% completed. So we anticipate close to 100% completion. So the shutdown will not affect that project, because we'll be down to punch list by that time. Park Boulevard, they're still hoping to be able to pave final surface the end of this week. The contractor did pull off to take care of his state projects, but obviously come Thursday, their crews won't have that much to do if there is a shutdown, so they'll be available to come back here and finish up our projects. Patching project, that work started last week, will be ongoing. The 2016 Street Improvement Program, that work began today, and that work will be ongoing. It should not be affected by the slowdown. North Princeton reconstruction, that project also started up today, and we do not anticipate that one having a major slowdown. So really, it's the north side sidewalk from a award standpoint and High Ridge from a construction standpoint
Right.
are the greatest at risk. And of course, we have several design projects that are ongoing, and we'll be giving you updates as those get closer to a bid letting. There are some still unresolved funding issues on some of these projects, so obviously we'll need to discuss those at some time in the future.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hopefully June 30th will come and go with a new budget. Hopelessly optimistic, I guess you can say I am. Just a few other things. FEMA, yes, our Fire Chief Ron Rokosnik sat straight up in his chair, recently awarded the fire department with a grant, an operations and safety grant, in the amount of $189,564. And if you could come up, Chief Rokosnik, and give us some details in regards to this incredible grant that you just received. It was pretty nifty news.
Well, it actually is nifty news. This is our second grant from
Yep.
FEMA. Our first one was about a year and a half ago where we got the new fire engine. It's a
Yeah.
$432,000 grant. This one was $189,000,
Yeah.
which will be used for SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus. We'll be replacing, I think, 26 air packs with 2 bottles, harness, and the mask. And we're also going to get a new air cascade system which fills the bottles, so it'll be
nice.
state of the art. So the entire purchase is $211,000, and FEMA gives us 90% or the $189,564. whatever that is. So, and what's nice about it is an MSA pack, air pack, and neighboring towns like Elmhurst and Addison, they have the same air pack, so it's interchangeable, standardization, consolidation, big word in DuPage County. So we can share our equipment with neighboring towns and make things a lot safer for our people as well as the people we serve. So it's a great grant. And the other one that we got recently, we got it from IRMA, was a $15,000 grant for the purchase of the power loading cot systems for our ambulance.
Yes.
So
Yes.
another good grant. So in the last 2 years, we've received over $600,000 in grant money for the fire department, which we tremendously appreciate. And but the board's been good to us otherwise as well. So FEMA's been good, and the board's been good to us. So we really appreciate it. So.
Well, it's the least we could do. You went a long time without,
and the
equipment
grant process
replacement.
takes time. It's about a 15-page report we fill out. We applied for the grant in October of 2015. It takes about 6 or 7 months. They have a committee of different fire chiefs from across the country. They review our paperwork. You got to dot every I, cross every T, good narratives. So very fortunate, but we've done our homework.
Yes.
And we've done our homework pretty well. So
Yeah.
we'll continue to be aggressive with the grants. We're looking for some more grant money. Always looking for money, but grant money particularly. So
Well, you're 3 for 3 right now,
village
it's a
manager knows
3
how I am. So.
Yeah, so we know how much time and effort it takes
But it's
on.
been great. Our equipment now, our fleet is second to none for the most part. And our guys are very fortunate and very happy. So and a lot safer. So.
Yay. I'm gonna give you a
Anyways,
round of
thank you.
applause. Congratulations. I know how much time it takes to fill out those grant applications, so congratulations, to you and to the staff. Well deserved. Okay, just a quick reminder that Coffee with the Board would normally be held this Saturday on July 2nd, but because it lands during a holiday weekend, we have canceled Coffee with the Board, and we've been putting messages out there in regards to the cancellation. But we'll resume in August, on Saturday, August 6th, here, Village Hall, 9 o'clock, an informal way just to come together and talk about what's on your mind, and questions, comments, concerns, you can come and talk to us. So we'll see you in August. And speaking of 4th of July, we've got the parade coming up on Monday, July 4th. It's going to follow the same route as it has in previous years. It launches at noon from Trinity Lutheran parking lot, which is at Ardmore Central. And it'll follow, we'll go west on Central to Harvard, south on Harvard to Madison, east on Madison to Summit, north on Summit to Park, west on Park to Ardmore, and then we end up back at the parking lot. It's very heavy residential. The VFW did a fabulous job putting together this route a few years ago. And it happened to happen because of the Villa Avenue construction. And so they reworked the route with the village, and that's what we came up with, and the residents seem to really like it. So pull up your chair, and I've seen a few couches and other things that you pull up on the parkway to get comfortable for the parade. And it's pretty fun. When you walk the parade, you see a lot. So we look forward to seeing you on Monday, July 4th at noon at the parade. Come join us. It's supposed to be beautiful weather that day. So that ends my report. So I'm going to move on then to item number 2 on the formal, which is public comments on agenda items. This is in regards to items number 4, 5, and 6 on the formal. So if you have anything you'd like to say in terms of agenda items, be in regards to 4, 5, or 6. Non-agenda items will be item number 7, so You'll have a chance to speak then. Okay, seeing none then, we're going to move on then to item number 3, amendments of the agenda. Does anybody have any amendments to the formal agenda? All good? Okay. Moving on then to item number 4, the consent agenda, A through J. I'm going to just read this really, really quick. A, bill listing dated June 27th, 2016, one of two, in the amount of $185,322.98. B, bill listing dated June 27th, 2016, two of two, in the amount of $833,838.59. C, minutes from the village COW meeting for June 13th, 2016. D, minutes from the village formal board meeting for June 13th, 2016. E, first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing the sale by public auction of personal property owned by the village, used bicycles. F, first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a development agreement between the village and Aetna OL LLC. G, first and final reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a redevelopment agreement between the village and JDev Brew Incorporated. H, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving change order number 1 to the contract between the village and Chicagoland Paving Contractors Incorporated for the 2016 street improvement project in the amount of $52,411.70. I, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving change order number 2 to the contract between the village and Chicagoland Paving Contractors Incorporated for the 2016 street improvement project in the amount of $68,293.97. And J, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, change order number 1, and this is the final change order, to the contract between the village and Swallow Construction Corporation for the 2015 South Monterey Culvert Replacement Project for a reduction of $2,059.56, so $2,059.56. Okay, so we have a motion on the consent agenda. Thanks for hanging in there with me on that.
Madam President,
Okay,
I'd
Trustee
like to
Wagner.
make that motion.
All righty, do I have a second?
Madam
Anybody?
President, I'll second.
Trustee Bolfus, okay. Any additional questions and comments? We all good? Okay, roll call vote then.
Trustee Ayello.
No.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. Okay, then item number 5 on the formal. First reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, annexing territory to the village, 0 South 708 Villa Avenue and 0 South 705 Euclid Avenue. The village is seeking approval of a first reading of an annexation ordinance for 0 South 708 Villa Avenue and 0 South 705 Euclid Avenue. These two parcels are completely surrounded by the Village of Villa Park. This annexation also achieves a goal of the strategic plan to annex areas that are surrounded by the village. Staff believes this annexation will improve emergency services for these parcels and recommends approval of the annexation ordinance. A second and final reading will occur on July 11th, 2016. Do I have a motion on the first reading? Item number 5?
Madam President,
Oh, Trustee
I'll
Gazone.
make the motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Madam President, I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Bolfus, second. Any additional questions and comments from the board regarding this item?
I have one.
Okay, Trustee Bolfus.
On the agreement that we're given, section 5, it says the village agrees to waive the connection fees for both the water and the sewer connections on the property. Does that go on forever? Because I noticed that all the other things, other stipulations refer to until ownership transfers or until a certain amount of time. But the way I read that, that connection fees would go on for, I guess it would go on until property's still transferred, right? Or am I reading that wrong? Like section 5?
No, it's an agreement with a particular property owner. The annexation agreement runs 20 years, but that's part of the annexation ordinance. So that I don't assume, and I assume once it's connected, is that for every change of residence, you don't need a new connection.
No.
So
Changes residence or,
there is no new connection needed when you change residence.
okay.
So that's how we're covered. And it's not a separate agreement so that it wouldn't, if something ever happened, continue.
Okay. Thank you.
Good, okay. Anybody else? Oh, we good? Okay, roll call vote then.
Trustee
First
Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Ayello.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes.
President Bullwinkle.
Yes. It's item number 5, first reading. Okay, item number 6 on the formal is first reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, annexing territory to the village. This is 0 South 461 Ardmore Avenue. The village is seeking approval of a first reading of an annexation ordinance for 0 South 461 Ardmore Avenue. The 2 parcels associated with this address are completely surrounded by the Village of Villa Park. This annexation also achieves a goal of the strategic plan to annex areas that are surrounded by the village. Staff believes this annexation will improve emergency services for this parcel and recommends approval of the annexation ordinance. A second and final reading will occur on July 11th, 2016. Do I have a motion on the first reading? Excuse me.
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Madam President,
Trustee Case.
second.
Okay. Any additional questions and comments from the board in regards to this first reading? We all good? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Aiello?
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus?
Yes.
President Bowinkle?
Yes. Okay. Item number 7 is public comments on non-agenda items. So if there's anybody in the audience that would like to approach the podium for a non-agenda item, this is your chance. Is there anybody who'd like to come by? No? Okay, then, seeing none, we're going to move on then to item number 8, village clerk's report.
No report today.
Okay, all right. Item number 9 is village trustees report. I'll start to my right tonight. Trustee Bolt, does you have anything for us?
I just have one thing. I had an opportunity to go to a store over at the Eastgate Shopping Center, even though it's in Lombard. And so any of the residents who don't know, the Secretary of State's office over there in Lombard is closed. There was a couple of Secretary of State people sitting out in front there, so I went and asked them what was going on. And they didn't have any air conditioning over there. So the Secretary, it's a very busy Secretary of State's office because you can do all the Secretary of State activity there. They didn't have any air conditioning. They didn't know when they were going to get air conditioning. They probably hadn't paid the rent for a long time because of the budget issue. So who has the will that they want to fix the air conditioning? So it's closed, but you can still go over there for license plate stickers, sticker renewals, and handicap placket renewals. So I just wanted the residents of Villa Park to know that, but if you're going to do any driver's tests or title transfers, you'll have to go to a different facility. So that's all I have.
Thank you. It's good information. Thank you. Trustee Case.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. To my left here, Trustee
No
Gazone.
report tonight.
Okay. Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, Madam President. Just
Hey.
a couple things.
Sure.
I wanted to kind of extend the congratulations to Sean Birmingham from the library staff. He recently received the Melvin Jones Fellowship Award from the Lions Club. And this is the highest form of recognition for folks who embody the humanitarian ideas consistent with the nature and purpose of Lionism. So I think it's
Yeah.
worth recognizing him for that.
Absolutely.
And also wanted to offer my congratulations to the library. They had a very successful summer reading kickoff. I think I'm correct in saying they had almost 1,200 people come through, so it was quite successful. Just want to remind folks about the ice cream social that the Historical Society is going to hold on July 3rd, and I think that starts at 6 p.m. if I'm not correct.
We're going to double check that.
Okay.
So, but-
Regardless, it's on July 3rd in
Yes,
the
it
evening.
is.
And they're going to have some musical entertainment this year, in addition to delicious ice cream.
7. It's at 7 o'clock, Trustee
7
Wagner,
o'clock,
yes.
thank you for that
Okay.
correction.
Thank you. Manager King.
I talked with one other board member. Something I'd like to offer to the board is a change to our code, section 15-301, that deals with weeds, noxious weeds, and the description of what varieties of weeds are considered noxious weeds. And included in this list is milkweed. And the reason I'd like to have that eliminated from the code is because I know of many folks who are planting monarch way stations in their backyards, but want to be, they want to conform to the code. So I think it would be a simple change to make. And Trustee Bolfus indicated his support for this, so I'd like to see if we can get this on a future agenda.
Sure. I don't have any problem with it.
I'm
I have no-
writing it down if you give me a direction.
Yep, yep. How does everybody else? I don't have a problem with it. Does anybody else on the board? Nope. Trustee Bolfus?
Okay.
Patrick, yes. Okay, so, but yes, but we would like to hear from staff, of course, too. Sounds like you've got some support up here, but let's see what you have to say.
Well, what I did is I checked with Morton Arboretum and found out there are actually 4 specific types of milkweed. 3 of them are good, 1 of them is not so good. And what I would suggest perhaps is to leave the one that's not good in the list of noxious weeds that we don't want. But the other ones, obviously, because it's not referenced specifically by name, would be allowable then. It would not be considered a noxious weed.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, why is that one considered more noxious or obnoxious than the other 3?
Because it's called, the common name is tropical milkweed, and it
Okay.
is not indigenous to this area.
Oh.
However, milkweed has a propensity to spread pretty fast, and what you really don't want is a particular plant variety that's not indigenous to be brought into the area and potentially take over.
Okay, that makes sense. So everybody's still okay with Trustee Wagner's request? So we'll move this forward. Okay, all right, sounds good. Okay, anything else?
And lastly, Madam President, I communicated with the manager, and maybe this is going to be covered during his report, but some concern about fireworks and the proliferation of fireworks, and so I'll wait to hear more about that later.
Okay,
But just a concern that I have and other neighbors have about it. So,
yes. Okay,
and that's all I have. Thank you.
okay, great, thank you. Trustee Aiello?
I just have 2 questions
Hi.
for staff. Manager Keener. One is, what's our progress on Michigan Avenue and potentially your negotiations with District 45 in regard to stormwater detention cooperation? And second one is, there's been some emails back and forth between you and I regarding expansion of the TOD overlay. Any responses from staff on that yet?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes,
I'm sorry, I'll explain what I'm trying to get at is, I asked the manager to find out if it would be a good idea, because I think it'd be a good idea, to expand the TOD overlay so that it incorporates everything west of Ardmore up to Princeton, from the train tracks north to approximately the bridge, the bridge that crosses the tracks on North Avenue, or just shy of North Avenue on the north side. Okay, that's it.
Okay,
okay, thank you, Your Honor.
let's go for it.
First, the D45 staff made a presentation to District 45 elected officials, and out of that presentation, District 45 has provided a letter of support in theory to support the stormwater drainage plan that is being put together. And of that, it's going to take into account the ball fields and the soccer fields there at Jackson, because we already have an easement for the drainage area there. And so, anyway, they wrote a letter in support of the overall plan, so it's moving forward just at a slow pace. And it's not actually our plan, I believe it's the county's plan, but we do have a stake in that plan. So it is moving forward because we do have a letter of support. There is grant funds tied to that, so with the letter of support, that opens it up for more federal grant money. Going to the TOD, I discussed the TOD expansion with Director Grill, and I did write my notes on the TOD map that I gave you. So if you take a look at the map, folks at home, I apologize, I didn't bring the map, but with the TOD, the overlay district deals with commercial and multifamily. So if we look at the TOD and going north, on the east side of the TOD is half a block or so of multifamily that's already located there. And then behind that would be Trustee Idle's proposal to expand the TOD to the east, which really doesn't have any commercial or multifamily, it's single family. So staff thought we would watch and see what transpires in the TOD to see if we would do that in the future, is move the line of the TOD to the east. Now to the west, that makes sense because there already is multifamily clear to the swimming pool of Jefferson, so that makes sense to expand the TOD to the west. Did I get my directions mixed up? I tend to do that a lot.
You're talking down Terrace, right?
And then a follow-up
Yeah,
on the,
Terrace.
I appreciate that, Manager here. And then on the follow-up on the Michigan Avenue, of course, because everyone over there is asking me every once in a while. That street and the reconstruction of Michigan Avenue south of the Prairie Path to Jackson Street, that's not gonna happen until, because there's no sense, is my understanding, and I agree, in digging that street up to put a new street in, just to put digging up system in later in order to put a storm sewer underneath it, and then have to redo the street anyway. So that's the delay on Michigan Avenue is my perception, and I'm pretty sure it's like confirmation that I'm not wrong.
No, go ahead.
Thanks, Ron.
We've talked
Now,
about this.
Your Honor and Board, this is off the top of my head from my memory, so there's 3 different sections of South Michigan that we're working on, and that's one of the sections. But all the sections are dependent upon funding, either from the IEPA or stormwater funding, sewer separation funding, things of that nature. And Vitas, Director Jaskelis, and myself often talk about South Michigan on a weekly basis. But this particular area that you were discussing, yes, it depends upon what happens in the Jackson drainage area. And several things could happen. We could just say, you know what, we do not want to separate storm and sewer and just overlay the road or reconstruct the road and move on, which would not be beneficial to about 80 homes on the north side of Villa Park. Or we could wait until the stormwater drainage plan is finished, incorporate those changes and improvements onto Jackson, which from memory, if I'm wrong, but I believe it's about a 45-inch diameter sewer separation. Oh, it's larger. I'm getting a thumbs up. So maybe it's closer to a 60-inch diameter. And so when you talk about the storm drainage plan and then the design of the road, you want to design it correctly. So we're kind of at a standstill waiting for the stormwater plan to be finished and implemented on Jackson and then come over to South Michigan. Did that help?
Yeah, and I think the critical thing there for people on Michigan Avenue to understand is there's also a funding need for the storm sewer system that we would eventually hope to put in there. And in order to engineer it, you've got to have the funds to pay for the engineering. So that's all stalled a little based on that situation.
In fact, that's a very good point because Director Jaskelis and I were just talking today that at some point you have to stop engineering, because if you go forward and engineer it with a 60-inch diameter sewer separation and it doesn't take place, then you got to go backwards and pay to redo the drawing. So we were just talking about that today.
You got to get lucky once in a while. Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay. Well, Trustee Kazone, I
Manager
guess.
King, just a
has
quick question though.
To tag
My
on
understanding
to
though,
that one, yeah.
from Madison to the Prairie Path though, that's ongoing though, correct? Or are we still waiting on that?
Oh, you just want to step to the mic is
All
what
right.
it is.
Vitas Jaskelis,
Get up
our
here.
Director of Public Works, is coming back to the podium. I think we've all talked to you all about
There's two
this.
separate sections. Between Park and Madison is a combined sewer area. Those plans are complete except for the water main, which needs EPA loan funding. So we haven't submitted that application for the EPA loans because we don't have the money to repay the loans. The other section is Madison and Jackson. That's the one that's tied up into the Jackson Basin drainage. That one is the one that needs the large storm sewer, which is part of that overall flood control plan. which, again, that one is budgeted for design this fiscal year and construction next fiscal year. So we can present a contract for design at any time, but the construction components are not funded. So the dilemma is, do we design it all and assume the funding's going to be there, or do we just design what we know is funded? So it's two different segments, two different sets of issues, but the issues are the same in all cases, funding.
You didn't have to do that again with me off camera.
Park and Madison combined, Madison and Jackson separated. One is a separation project with the road and water main. The other one is a flood control project with the road and water main. They both have water.
Yeah.
That would need EPA loan funding. One is already 90% designed, the other one hasn't started.
Off camera later. Grab it later.
You good?
Yeah, good enough.
Okay. All right, thank you. We've all probably hopped on the manager and Vetus in regards to what's going on South Michigan. I'm hoping one of these days we can maybe have a meeting with the residents there. We've talked about that, but staff wanted to wait until they had all the components put together before having that meeting with the residents out there. So the meeting's still on the radar, but for all these reasons, that's why we haven't officially set a meeting date with you, so hang tight. Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 10, village manager's report.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. I do have a couple of items this evening, but to address Trustee Wagner's fireworks concerns, I'd like to either bring up Chief Rakosnik or Chief Pavlicek.
How about both of you? Both want to come up?
Fireworks over the last several years, there's been many accidents, and maybe Chief Pavlicek can enlighten us.
I will enlighten you that there's no good news on this story. That the laws, the state of Illinois and the ordinances are totally ignored on the 4th of July and other times of the year. Our police resources will be overwhelmed by the number of calls. They don't even sign dispatch tickets to firewall calls anymore. They just give them out to the area where they are. Unless you specifically say, the house at 123 Main Street's doing it and I want to sign a complaint, the call goes out, check the area First and Main for fireworks, because we are inundated with them. It's a finger in the dike scenario. And I'm sorry to the people that, you know what, a lot of us, in the neighborhood I live in, it happens too. You put up with it, and it frustrates you very much, and it frustrates me as a police officer. But it's a finger of the dike time. There's going to be that many calls, because on my way into work today, on the radio, the fireworks companies are advertising on the Chicago radio stations. Come to Wisconsin, come to Indiana, get your fireworks, bring them back to Illinois. I do thank you for the email, though, because it caused me to really read into our fireworks ordinance. No enforcement, there's no violation of that code. Defines what fireworks are, doesn't say it's illegal. So that means we're going to enforce a state law, which, if I have to arrest somebody for a fireworks violation, involves the physical of taking someone into custody and booking them, which is a longer process. What you'll see from me at the next board meeting will be one sentence in that section that says it is illegal to possess, sell, or display fireworks, within the corporate limits of the village, because that part of the code isn't there, but it's silent on it. So we'll do a rain dance as best we can. Hope for rain, but it's going to be a long weekend of people blowing up stuff that they shouldn't be. No matter how many people lose fingers and eyes, it continues. I just don't get it. But that's the long and the short of what we can expect this weekend. I can't put enough cops on the street to handle fireworks calls this weekend.
Well, yes.
Thank you,
Trustee
Madam President. I
Wagner.
appreciate that response. I think most people are willing to be tolerant to a certain point and accept that this is a tradition, if you will, during the 4th of July, and people will set up fireworks. But I think that what irritates people most is when it goes well into the night.
I'm with you.
And it seems like there's been an escalation to at least by the sound and the reverberation from the explosion, that maybe they're getting more powerful. I don't know, but I think that's the thing that.
It's a huge frustration, and you will, and as I will, and as elected, you will probably hear from the residents that we didn't do anything about it. Again, we're overwhelmed by this, and it's. I don't understand it. I just came back from Michigan, and the whole Michigan, whole Indiana corridor coming back is just loaded with these stands, and all the cars have Illinois plates. Go figure. So we'll do the best we can. I've got to fix that ordinance, and I'm glad you pointed it out, because when I read it, it needs to be fixed. It makes it easy. The other problem we run into is some of the things that people are bringing home with them are serious fireworks that the bomb squad wants to be called out for some of these things. These aren't little firecrackers. These are, mortar shells. I can tell you earlier in my police career as a young patrolman, I put some stuff in the trunk of a car that I shouldn't have been handling. And by the grace of God, they didn't blow up on me. But that's the kind of stuff we're seeing in the neighborhoods. Director Fiel, how do you feel about fireworks?
Yeah.
Set fire to her house last year.
Yeah.
Neighbors were shooting them off, not her.
Yeah.
Set fire to her house. So we hope for the best, but I can tell you it's going to be a long weekend if the weather's good.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate that.
thank you.
It's as straight as I can give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay. Anything else, Manager Keen?
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay, what else you have for us? Yay.
I just want to bring to the folks at home attention of summer meals. So don't go hungry this summer. It's all children 18 and under. You can find a summer meals site close to you by calling 800-359-2163, or you can text Food IL or text 877-877, or visit summermealsillinois.org. So please don't go hungry. All children 18 and under. Available all families. Thank you. And with that, Your Honor, one more item. Just want to let the board know and folks in the audience at home that I'm very proud of our Public Works Department. We have received correspondence from IDOT that we have rectified our MFT from 2006 to 2014. So we have received signed off from IDOT for our MFT audit for that time period. We actually initiated that audit ourselves. And so on July 11th, through this board meeting, we will have the acceptance of that audit, and we'll put that to bed. So
Okay.
thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Okay, good report there. Item number 11, Village Attorney's report.
No report.
Okay. Item number 12 on the formal, consider executive session. 5 ILCS 120-2, C1, personnel matters and collective bargaining. B, 5 ILCS 120-2, C5, purchase or lease of property. C, 5 ILCS 120-2, C6, sale or lease of property. D, 5 ILCS 120-2, C11, pending litigation. And E, 5 ILCS 120-2, C21, discussion of closed session minutes. Can I have a motion to convene into exec session?
Madam President,
Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, and then Trustee Kazone or Aiello, who got the second over there? Aiello, okay. Trustee Aiello, second, okay. All in favor?
It's
We'll
roll
just
call.
roll call, we'll do a roll call though, just to be sure. Yes, we will do
Yeah.
roll call. We usually do. We'll do roll call.
Okay, Trustee Kazone.
Yes.
Trustee Wagner.
Yes?
Trustee Aiello.
Yes.
Trustee Bolfus.
Yes.
Trustee Case.
Yes.
President Bolden.
Yes, okay, we're gonna convene into exec session and we will then adjourn following exec session, so. Take care of a little more business.
What time did all this happen?